Hello, hello, beautiful people. My name is Meiline and I have been in the fashion industry for over 18 years. I also had a brand named Dragonfly. Now I'm here to give you some tips and tricks about how to start your own fashion brand. So join the tribe. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share with others who you think might benefit from this video. This is one of my favorite segments. I love talking about history, fashion history. And for today, I thought, why not look at the origins of certain colors and how pigments and dyes, inks were created? Since it's a huge subject, I thought, why don't we stick to the primary ones that were used in ancient times, and also a couple of them that have very weird ingredients. This will be split into 3 different videos, so we have nice compact information about 2 colors in each video. So in this one, we're going to talk about reds and blues. Could you imagine a world without the array of colors in all things? Where would we be today in cosmetics, garments, and decorations? So about 40,000 years ago, artists created a base of 5 colors, which would be the foundation of art for years to come. These were black, white, red, yellow, and browns. But it also has been discovered that as far as 320,000 years ago, early humans began to use color, chiseling red and black manganese rocks, likely used to make pigments and adorn their weapons or themselves. Also, as early as 250,000 years ago, Neanderthals were mixing minerals such as hematite or ochre and manganese with fluids to make red and black paints. Again, presumably to decorate the body and clothing. Pigments and paint grinding equipment, believed to be between 350,000 and 400,000 years old, have been reported to be found at Twin Rivers near Lusaka, Zambia as well. All right, why don't we get started with red specifically? It seems to be the mother of all colors from the research I've done, and different hues use different ingredients. The oldest pigment still in use is ochre. It was made from iron-rich soil and first employed as an artistic material, as far as we know, in prehistoric cave paintings. For some, it related to blood and evoked strength and virility symbolically. But centuries later, between the 16th century and the 17th century, the most popular red pigment came from a cochineal insect, a little critter that could only be found on prickly pear cacti in Mexico. These white bugs produced an intense red dye so sought after by artists and patrons that it quickly became the 3rd greatest import out of the New World after gold and silver. Raphael, Rembrandt, and Rubens all used cochineal as a glaze, layering the pigment over other reds to increase their intensity. The cochineal bug is still used to color lipsticks and blush today, since it's a non-toxic source for red pigment. The color from this bug comes from the cochinealin or carminic acid, released by female cochineals. And it takes about 70,000 bugs just to make 1 pound of carmine dye. The bugs can create a variety of brilliant red shades, from the softest reds to the deepest of burgundies. Around the 1600s, the Spanish conquistadors brought the bug carcasses to Europe from Mexico. Now, from royalty to artists, this dye was highly sought after. One other ancient red shade worth noting is the alizarin crimson, a vivid red pigment inclined slightly towards purple, which was most widely used as a dye. It came from the Rubia tinctorum plant, commonly known as madder. It has been found on fabrics in ancient Egyptian tombs, and its production in Europe was encouraged by Charlemagne, an 8th century king, for the early European textile industry. Now, what about blue? Because I didn't mention it at the beginning as one of the original colors created in ancient times. Let's start by saying this. Would you believe it that blue, being so prevalent in everyday things, including a big blue sky, was the rarest of all colors to produce. Blue as a pigment didn't already exist naturally and had to be created. Ancient Egyptian chemists concocted the first blue pigment more than 5,000 years ago, which means they invented the world's first synthetic pigment, called now, of course, Egyptian blue, although in their language at the time, translated to artificial lapis lazuli. They heated a mixture of sand, ground limestone, and copper-containing minerals like malachite or azurite at a high temperature. This process created a cloudy blue glass that was crushed and combined with a thickening agent to make glaze and paint. So the name artificial lapis lazuli reflected the high regard for the semi-precious gemstone, together with cobalt, lazurite, turquoise, and indigo, was one of several sources of blue-hued raw materials Egyptian craftsmen used in pigments. So lapis lazuli was mined in the Sarisang mines around 7000 BC in what is now northeast of Afghanistan. The rarity of this blue pigment made it incredibly valuable. In fact, the shipment of this gemstone took 3 years to arrive in Egypt. Hence why they took it upon themselves to develop their own blue shade. Ever since the medieval period, painters have depicted the Virgin Mary in a bright blue robe, choosing the color not for its religious symbolism, but rather for its hefty price tag. Mary's iconic hue, called ultramarine, comes from lapis lazuli. This precious material achieved global popularity, adorning Egyptian funerary portraits, Iranian Qurans, and later the headdress in Vermeer's Girl with the Pearl Earring in 1665. For hundreds of years, the cost of lapis lazuli rivaled even the price of gold. Other earlier known blue dyes, such as a form of indigo, were made from plants, or a woad herb of the mustard family in Europe. In Huaca Prieta, Peru, the oldest known fabric dye indigo dated to 6,000 years ago and was produced from the extraction of the Indigofera tinctoria leaves. Indigofera species are tropical perennial legumes. Many Asian countries, such as India, China, Japan, and other Southeast Asian countries, have used indigo as a dye, especially for silk, for centuries as well. Ancient Egypt, however, extracted the best quality of indigo from murex sea snails, which were once common in the coastal waters of the eastern Mediterranean. But it was so expensive because 12,000 of these snails yielded just 1.4 grams of Tyrian purple, basically enough to dye a handkerchief. Just mind-blowing stuff when you think about it. How brilliant they were at the time, where no known technology existed, and they simply used their skills and ingenuity. Now, next video will be all about the browns, including mummy brown. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone that you think could benefit from these videos. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to write any down below. See you soon. Bye.